This is Chalmette battlefield near New Orleans, the battle that saved America on January 8th, 1815. And we're looking across the battlefield. The white tents you see over there, that's the American line where we had our living history programs the past 2 days. I'm never able to take any pictures while I'm doing the programs, so this after it's all over. You can see the monument to the battle over there. It's a 100-foot tall monument, the visitor center, and there's an old plantation house. Anyway, the British came from this area and assaulted the line from 3 different directions, but the plan kind of fell apart and the American artillery just raked the British lines and caused heavy casualties and destroyed the British forces. And it's very swampy out here, very wet. The field is always full of water. Both the American and British artillery positions had to be reinforced so the cannons would not sink down the earth. There's cypress trees over there, and that's where the Choctaw Indians were hiding out. They're very good sharpshooters. And then behind the battlefield there's a national cemetery. So that is Chalmette battlefield, and the 200th anniversary of the battle is going to be next year, and they're planning a big event in Chalmette near New Orleans. So that'll be January 2015. And across the field, one thing about the observation tower over there, I mentioned it's 100 feet tall. The cornerstone was actually laid in 1840, and Andrew Jackson was at that ceremony. It took many years until it was actually built. It was unfinished during the Civil War. Several of the soldiers talk about camping in the shadow of the tower, and then it was finally finished in 1908. So about 93 years after the battle, it was finally finished. And on the far end of the field here, this interpretive signs about General Edward Pakenham, the commander of the British forces. He was killed trying to rally his forces. The main assault of the British was attempted at this line. The British attack failed. They were expecting the militia to break and run, but they were seasoned troops and they didn't do that. And also the British the 44th Regiment, who was supposed to have the ladders and to scale the American line, showed up and didn't have the ladders, and so the whole force of the British went into mass confusion and were just raked by the artillery and the muskets. Over half the force was killed by the artillery. And so this is probably where hundreds of soldiers lay dead after the battle, where the main assault was, right here. Now General Pakenham, his body was taken about 2 miles away. There's a plantation in that direction that actually still remains in the middle of the highway. The plantation ruins, and next to it is a little park with some giant oak trees. And they gutted his body and buried the viscerals there, and then took the remains of his body and back to England, where I guess they buried him in Westminster Abbey. He was related to Wellington and fought in the war against Napoleon, and so he's a hero back in England, although he met a quick death here. He was shot down off his horse. His horse was killed, so he mounted another horse, and then he was shot right away again, and this time he is mortally wounded. So that is the Battle of New Orleans, the battle that saved America.